Today I'm doing what I call the honeycomb stitch in Tunisian crochet. You'll find with stitch dictionaries with Tunisian that lots of things will have different names but be the same thing. This is kind of like a Tunisian honeycomb. To me, it's also sort of like a moss stitch or a seed stitch in knitting or crochet. It's every other stitch. And the two stitches that we're going to be alternating after this first setup row, the setup row is chain a multiple of 2 plus 1 and then pull up a loop in each stitch across and then return pass as usual. So I'll get myself centered in the frame here for you. Okay, so the two stitches that we are alternating are Tunisian purl and Tunisian simple stitch. So check out my videos for each of those specifically, but we're going to skip the first vertical bar in Tunisian purl in the next one. Then we are going to just do one of each across. So next is a Tunisian simple, next is a Tunisian purl, Tunisian simple, Tunisian purl, Tunisian simple, all the way across. Then we will return pass as usual. Again, this is going to be somewhat of a dense stitch pattern. I still need to come up with some lacy ones for you. Check out the Tunisian playlist. So Tunisian simple stitch in the last vertical bar and yarn over, pull through 2 all the way across. Now that first row of pattern stitches after the foundation or first setup row, we started with skipping the first vertical bar and we Tunisian purled in the first stitch. So now it's a 2-row repeat. So instead of Tunisian purling in the first stitch, I'm going to Tunisian simple stitch in the first available stitch. Then purl in the next one. So we've just reversed the order, and those 2 rows are what we are going to alternate all the way for the length of our piece. So Tunisian simple, Tunisian purl, Tunisian simple, Tunisian purl, Tunisian simple, and then Tunisian simple in the last stitch because you can't purl it. Okay? And you can already see a little bit of the honeycomb forming. So we're going to repeat those 2 rows. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 1, then yarn over and pull through 2 for each of the remaining stitches across. So if the last row we started with the first available stitch was a Tunisian simple, then the next row, the first available stitch, we're going to Tunisian purl. Because we're just repeating those 2 rows. You've now seen all of it. And the more we do, the more the pattern will pop. So while I'm stitching Tunisian simple stitch and Tunisian purling all the way across, I want to give a shout out to, I think I want to say your name correctly, so I'm going to be very careful. Is it Anjali, Anjali N, Tammy N, Carol B, KTGH, and I've lost my place here. That was a Tunisian simple, this was a purl, so this one has to be a simple. This one is a purl. I know the purls because you can see the little horizontal bar across the front of the stitch. Okay, Tunisian simple stitch, Tunisian purl, and Tim B. So Anjali N, Tammy N, Carol B, KTGH, and Tim B are subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting on my videos. I appreciate it. Also, you can check out my crochet-related merch that does not have my brand or name on it. It's just crochet fun goodies, mugs, towels, t-shirts at my Teespring store. Search Ellen Gormley, teespring.com/Ellen-Gormley. Okay, so let's read the stitches a little bit. So if you can see the little horizontal bar there, that's the purl. The straight up and down one without the horizontal bar is the Tunisian simple. So that helps us to remember where we are. So if I purled this one the last time, then I need to Tunisian simple it this time. So let's see, I split that yarn, so I'm backing up just a little bit. There we go. Simple Tunisian purl. So I am just going to take a little break and stitch up several more rows and then come back to you and we will see what it looks like. Keep stitching and let's see what you can do. So have you kept up with me? This is where we are right now. I've done several rows now. You can count the rows by counting the number of stitches along the side. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. Can you see the little ridge of stitches here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. Okay, and so you can really see the pattern in the middle of the little swatch, and on the ends not quite as much because remember we always Tunisian simple stitched on each edge no matter what. And can you imagine this on a little baby sweater? Wouldn't that be adorable? And a little wool or a little like tweedy yarn. This is a DK weight yarn. It's 100% acrylic and I used a letter I size hook. But you can of course do this with any yarn and hook. Remember, look, there's no curl on this. Remember, when you vary your stitches in Tunisian, that's when the curl goes away. So check out my Tunisian playlist for more stitches and also tips on how to tame the curl. The last tip I want to give you is many times Tunisian will tell you to bind off in pattern. So what we're going to do to bind off in pattern is follow the pattern but basically single crochet. So this stitch was a Tunisian purl and so I'm supposed to Tunisian simple stitch it and I'm just going to single crochet it as if to Tunisian simple stitch. The next stitch is supposed to be purled according to the pattern, so I'm going to single crochet it as if to Tunisian purl by pulling up, okay? Tunisian, so we're just basically single crocheting in each stitch, but placing the hook, yarning over, pulling through 2, which I didn't really do on the first one, as if to single crochet, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through 2. There we go. So we are Tunisian binding off in pattern. So basically that means single crocheting by placing the hook in the stitch as if you were following the pattern. Got it? So I did mess up that first one. That was the purl. That kind of threw me there for a second, but it just took a second to get my rhythm. So then we're just single crocheting all the way across, but where we put the hook is where we would have put the hook if we had followed the pattern. And that is our little honeycomb stitch in Tunisian crochet. Thanks so much. Bye.